Welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey, and tonight, it's Halloween, we're looking at a bottle that could be Bottle of the Year. Roll the intro. All right, guys, I finally got it. I finally got my hands on it. This is the Bardstown Discovery 12. Lot of hype surrounding this one. Not at first, but once it kind of got out into the market, a lot of people have been saying some really, really good things about this. And I've been a fan of the Discovery series since I want to say Disco 4 was the first release that came out here in Michigan, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And Disco 4 was really good. Disco 5 was pretty good. 6 was kind of in my opinion, but 7 was good. And I don't know if I ever opened Disco 8. Disco 9, I don't think I opened. And then I didn't grab 10 because I heard it was bad. I didn't grab 11, but this one is supposed to be special. Why is it so special, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. So it tells you on the side of the bottle, and this is one of the great things about Bardstown Distilling. The transparency that this company provides is unparalleled. So never mind the fact that they've got their own unique bottle shape. They got a super solid logo. They do this like corn etching or emblazing or whatever you want to call it on the back that looks really nice. But you know exactly what it is that is going into this blend. So it is 48% Kentucky 14-year bourbon, okay? 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. We're going to stop there for a second because word on the street is this is 14-year wild turkey, okay? The next part of the blend is 29% Kentucky 10-year bourbon, 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. Then it's 15% Kentucky bourbon that's 10 years old, 78% corn, 13% rye, and then 9% malted barley. And lastly, we have 8% Bardstown Bourbon Company Kentucky bourbon that is 6 years old, and it is a 4-grain, 60% corn, 26% rye, 10% wheat, and 4% malted barley. So I know that I just threw a ton of information at you, right? But the big thing here is half of this, or near half of this, is coming from Wild Turkey Distillery. Let's just think about that for a second. 14-year Wild Turkey. Russell's 13 is like unobtainium, and Russell's 15. I might legitimately sell my child to get a bottle of that. I had a pour of it when we were at the distillery, and it was so good. It is the unicorn of unicorns in my book. I will probably never find it at retail. I think retail is $250, and there is a list of bottles, very few, that I would pay over $200 for, but that bottle is one of them. Was not able to get it while I was at the distillery. I did get a private select pick that was signed by Jimmy Russell, still very cool. But let's dive into this one because I have heard some really, really good things about this, and I want to find out for myself if this is fantastic or if it's all just hype. But before I get any further, I want to shout out real quick just a thank you to the guy who made this possible. I was able to find this at Smokey Joe's Tobacco and Liquor. So, Joe, you are such a beauty, sir. Thank you for being the only shop in town that had one of these bottles on the shelf. I appreciate you. Guys, if you're ever in Fraser, Michigan, stop by Smokey Joe's. They have a huge whiskey selection, Scotch, Irish, Canadian, bourbon, whatever you need. They got a badass walk-in humidor. They got a bunch of pre-made cocktails. They got a bunch of, I don't know what you call them, but they're like Slurpee cups with all the cocktail ingredients in them that are top-notch. Obviously, you know, beer, wine, all that jazz. It's a super, super cool store. Please stop in and see Joe, give him some business because he has a rather extensive selection and also a pretty good allocated selection as well. And his store picks are nice. I know I've talked about his Detroit City Honey Barrel pick before, and it's fantastic. I still have half a bottle. Might have to go get a backup of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's wait for that fresh pop. Ooh, that's a good one. My one complaint with the Bardstown Discovery series, these used to be super heavy duty corks. And after Disco 3, they kind of just did like this rubber plastic cap that isn't nearly as impressive, but whatever. I mean, I really don't care that much about the cork, right? So, all right. Oh, All right. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's like a nice toasted amber color. Let's give it a little swirl in the Glen there. Swirl, swirl, swirl. You spin me right round, baby, right round. All right, let's. Okay, so you can. I don't know if you guys are picking up on this or not, but you can see the viscosity. It's already beating up on the glass. Okay, so immediately some oakiness. There's it smells almost like cherry wood, but then there's also some medicinal cherry in there. Some caramels. This has there's like there's a pastry note that I'm kind of maybe not pastry, like a cakey kind of note that I'm like like strawberry cake donut. It's really really good. Wow. Okay, let's go in for a sip. Cheers. Okay, that was my first sip of whiskey today, and that didn't drink that hot. This is 115.2 proof, guys, and it actually drinks more like I would say close to that 100, 105 mark. Me personally, the palate on that is so rich. There's definite notes of like there's some red fruit, like some it's not a caramel. It's almost like a dulce de leche with red fruits. Um, there's a toasty note in there that I'm kind of getting. Hang on. I don't I'm having a hard time picking that out. A little bit of a custardy kind of on like the back end though. And the finish is just forever. It is toasted sweet oak, red fruits, sweetness, a little bit of like sweet corn, but not overpowering. It's really, really good. It's really good. Um, yeah, this is as complete of a bourbon as I have tasted in a long time, in my opinion. And I know it's a blend. For those of you who don't know about Bardstown Bourbon Company, first of all, get your head out of the ground because they've been making moves for like the last 5 years and big ones. I think they might now officially be, in terms of overall production capacity, the largest producer of bourbon whiskey in Kentucky. If they're not number one, they got to be really close to it. They're doing a lot of contract distilling and not just, they provide the distillate and they sell it, but you can go in and like it's from my understanding anyways, and I could be totally wrong, but from my understanding it's a total boutique whiskey experience where you can go in and work with them and tell them you want this mash bill and this kind of barrel, and they'll work with you to develop basically whatever it is you want to do and utilize their facilities, and they'll go ahead and distill it for you and barrel it up and then ship it to you, and or just send the raw distillate and you can barrel it. I mean, from what I understand, they're doing awesome stuff. But my God, this is really good. Yeah, this definitely would be in the running for bourbon of the year for me. Yeah, there's it's not like really proofy at all. There's a little bit of like a cinnamon baking spice that's there. There's a little bit of a just like a sliver of that alcoholy presence. But I mean, I think that's just because this is maybe a fresh pop. Maybe once the oxygen gets to it, it'll probably round out a little bit, but there's not a whole lot of rounding out to be done here. This is exceptional whiskey. I might actually grab a backup of this one if I can find it. The problem is, and again, I'm going to revisit what I said earlier. This is the only bottle that I have found sitting on a shelf near where I live. And I'm not somebody who frequents 2 or 3 stores. I go to a couple dozen stores, usually in the span of a month. Try to make sure I spread the bank's money around. I go from place to place, kind of make myself known. But Joe had this sitting on the shelf because, as always, he came through in the clutch. He's always got what I'm looking for, which is really, really nice. It's not at the end of my street, but I can't really complain about an 8-minute drive. You know what I mean? But this is good. This is really, really good for being entirely Kentucky bourbon. I know the price tag has gotten a little bit out of hand on these, but it's not unreasonable. It's a little bit higher. I would love it to be back near that $100 mark where it was, 3 or 4 years ago. But the whole market is exploding right now, or rather, it was. Now we're seeing a regression in the whiskey market. But I would buy this. This is a definite buy. I'm going to say this is like, for me personally, is like a 9.3 out of 10. This is so good. I wish I had a case of this stuff, but it's really just exceptional. I would love to sit here and just go through this forever, but I'm going to give it a 9.3. If you see this, buy this. I know in the past the Discovery series has been absolutely everywhere. I know their white label is great, their black label is great, the tan label is great. I haven't tried the green label rye yet, but I've heard very, very nice things about that as well. A lot of the stuff that Bardstown is putting out is absolutely fantastic. But this specific batch of Disco, this is Disco 12, right? This is magic in a bottle, guys. I 100% encourage you to grab it up. I hope I haven't rambled on too long for you guys, but please, if you've made it this far in the video, I urge you to hit that subscribe button, throw me a like, leave a comment down below. I welcome the feedback. Anything you want to tell me, leave it in the comments. I'm welcome to any kind of contributions, let's call them, right? But otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Cheers.